Here we have a story at dailymail.co.uk by Josh Boswell, entitled Exclusive, Marine Vet Breaks 14-Year Silence to make astonishing claim that his six-man unit saw a hovering octagonal UFO being loaded with weapons by unmarked U.S. forces who threatened them at gunpoint while serving in Indonesia in 2009. Mr. Boswell begins. A former Marine claims he and 5 comrades saw a flying saucer being loaded with weapons while serving in Indonesia in 2009 and was threatened at gunpoint by unmarked U.S. forces at the scene. The wild story comes after an Air Force whistleblower from the government's UFO office joined growing numbers of intelligence officials claiming the U.S. has recovered and is even reverse engineering crashed or landed non-human spacecraft. Michael Herrera was a 20-year-old rifleman sent on a Navy humanitarian mission during the 2009 Sumatra earthquake and tsunami that devastated the region. In an exclusive interview with the Daily Mail, he claims that while guarding an airdrop of aid supplies outside the city of Padang in October that year, his 6-man unit stumbled across a hovering octagonal craft in apparent use by clandestine U.S. forces. After 14 years of silence, Herrera was emboldened by new UFO whistleblower protections and in April testified under oath to the government's UFO investigation team, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or ARO, as well as a Senate committee. He provided his unblemished 4-year service record and texts about the incident with an alleged fellow witness who refused to talk, saying it was, quote, not worth my life or jeopardizing my family, end quote. Peripheral aspects of his account were verified by Daily Mail using military sources, but Herrera, age 33, does not have documentation or photos of the incident itself. The Denver native joined the Marines fresh out of high school. He had been serving for less than 2 years when he was deployed to the Philippines as a member of the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit to help distribute aid in the wake of a typhoon. When a 7.6 magnitude earthquake struck Sumatra on September the 30th of that year, his 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines, Echo Company, 2nd Platoon, was rerouted to help guard helicopter aid drops around Padang City, beset by violence from local insurgents. Around October the 8th, he and 5 Marines were dropped off at a clearing in the northeastern part of the city by a CH-53 chopper, and they hiked 900 feet up a ridge to take their positions for the incoming supply drop, said Herrera. It was then he spotted a strange object in the jungle on the other side of the hill. He said, I could see something moving and rotating. It was changing colors between a very light matte gray to a very dark matte black. It stuck out like a sore thumb. Oddly, he said, they had not been given radios, so instead of calling it in, they edged down the hill in formation to investigate, while Herrera snapped photos and video on his Panasonic camera. Herrera told the Daily Mail the thing was massive, the size of a football field. I guess this is a depiction of it right here. That is pretty big. The craft was rotating in a clockwise motion while changing colors. It had an audible hum, like the sound of a transformer or the amp of a guitar. It was an octagonal shape with a pyramid at the top that was black. It had scales that were on the outside of the craft that covered the whole thing. It had seams and sharp edges, which I suspect to be man-made. Nothing on it was smooth. It had some pinnacles on the vertical edges that were like vantablack. Whatever vantablack is. According to Aro, statistics of UFO reports between 96 and 2023, of these reports, only 1% are polygons, like an octagon. 2% are disc-shaped, while 52% are orbs or spherical. However, an object shot down in February over Lake Huron, Michigan by F-16 fighter jets after their first missile missed was described as octagonal by Congress members briefed on the incident that took place during the summer of the Chinese balloon. Herrera claimed that when he and his 5 comrades got within 150 feet of the craft, they were ambushed by 8 men wearing all black camouflage, bulletproof vests, and wielding M4 rifles with high-end night vision attachments normally given to elite U.S. troops. He said they had their weapons drawn on us. We could audibly hear their weapon safety levers flipping off of safe. "Who the F are you guys?" he said. "What are you doing here?" 2 of them yelled with American accents, said Herrera. They said we weren't supposed to be there and that they could kill us. As the men continued to threaten them, took the Marines' weapons, dumped their ammunition, and scanned their military IDs, Herrera said he saw others loading large weapon cases and other containers from a modified Ford F-350 truck onto a platform beneath the craft. When the last 2 trucks finished unloading and drove off, the lower part of the platform rose off the ground to about 10 feet, and the craft lowered to meet it, and it came together into one piece, he said. On the corners of the craft, it had lights that were changing between blue, red, yellow, and green. I lost my place, of course. There it is. It rose off the ground and a little past the trees, then shot off to our left towards the ocean at around 4,000 miles per hour. We can't believe this is effing happening, he says. From a dead stop, it didn't make any sound like a sonic boom. It did not disturb the trees like rotor wash would. I guess he means helicopter rotor wash. We could see coconuts on the trees, and none of them were disturbed. Herrera said the 8 unmarked soldiers gave them back their unloaded guns and marched them back over the hill, still telling us how they could kill us if they wanted. Once we got over the hill, they told us to get the F away and don't look back. The 6 Marines ran back to the aid drop site and were scolded by their gunnery sergeant for returning early, said Herrera, adding that they all kept quiet about the disturbing encounter. I was effing scared, said the veteran. I was thinking I could have been killed. How the hell am I going to explain this? Back on the USS Denver, Herrera's unit was debriefed by a rear admiral he didn't recognize. He said it was odd to have such a high-ranking officer there. And again, none of them mentioned the saucer and unmarked troops.